honestly, I don't really know. I don't have a plan for this video at all. I just felt the need to make it because it's the last day of 2019, which means it's also the last day of the 2010 decade, which has been the most significant of my life so far because I've actually like remembered it. Yeah, you might not find this video interesting at all. It's really more for myself, I think, than anything. But I just kind of wanted to like spill some thoughts on what I think this decade and this year have given me and taken from me and just things of that nature. Yeah, I mean, a year ago, I was in Las Vegas with my best friend Jordan, and we were having fun, and we went down to the Strip for New Year's Eve, and then we ended up going back before midnight even, and my 2019 started off with a high five from an Uber driver. So that's how the year began. But I knew going into the beginning of the year that there was going to be a lot of change happening in my life, and I didn't know everything that would happen. I basically knew my life up until like June, and then after that I didn't know really much of anything. So I after Vegas, I went home because I was still on break from school. I was still in college. I was in my senior year. I went back like a week later to campus in Ohio, and I finished out my last semester, which was really, it was a bittersweet time because I met a lot of friends that I now have that I hadn't had the last few years, which made it all that much harder to leave because they weren't all seniors. And so it then made me bittersweet. I was already getting nostalgic. I'm like, I'm leaving this place in a few months and everyone's still going to be here, and I'm moving across the country, and I don't know when I'll see these people again. But I made it through my classes. I got my GPA up to be able to graduate with high honor, which was kind of a big deal for me. I kind of pride myself on my brains and grades and things like that. So I was proud of myself, especially from freshman year, having like the lowest grades that I had ever like seen in my life to getting them back up to be graduating with distinction. Graduation was cool, I guess. And then from there, I road tripped across the country with my mom to come back to Southern California and lived with my parents for about a month and a half. And that was also weird because I knew that that was kind of going to be my last time there for a while, and I had all my stuff packed up. It didn't really feel like home anymore, but I also didn't feel like I had a home because I didn't know what exactly I was getting myself into. And I was finishing up wedding planning, and I got all the plans together and I got married. You guys have seen James in some of my videos. He and I have been together for over 4 years now, which has been wonderful. And we got married on June 15th, and that was about when I stopped knowing what my life was going to hold for the rest of the year. But we moved up to the Bay Area of California together, about an hour south. We're on the south side of the Bay, so that he could work in Mountain View. And then I was like, I don't have a job. I don't know what I'm doing. Everything was kind of a mystery at that point, and I just started applying places, and eventually I got hired as a contractor with a contracting company under Apple, which was like beyond what I ever thought I would be doing, which was like really crazy and really cool. And I just kind of jumped into that, and I didn't necessarily expect it to turn out to be anything big. I knew it was supposed to be a temporary position, and then at the end of it, they offered me a full-time position. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm still in the process of transitioning on that. But that was like a huge change from graduating and getting married, moving, and like getting a new job and transitioning into career life. And so I've kind of just been like sitting in that for a few months. I did Vlogtober, as you saw. I've just been enjoying life as an adult, being married, all those things, and but there was still more change to be had in the year. I thought that was kind of like it for the year. I was like, okay, I got a job, cool, we're done. No, my husband and I decided to move again. We're still in the Bay Area. We just moved like 20 minutes away to a better apartment because the old place just wasn't really what we were wanting, and this place that we're now in just kind of popped up perfectly, and we weren't really expecting to move so quickly. We thought we were going to be moving early in 2020, like late February, but no, we moved December 7th of 2019. So that made for basically a total of 4 moves in 1 year for me, from school to home, from home, like my parents' home, to our first apartment, from the first apartment to here. Maybe that's 3 moves. 3 moves, still a lot, more than I've ever done in my life. And yeah, but it's been a good year. I've had ups and downs with everything. Like emotionally, it's been a rough year because of all the change, and I knew from the beginning that I wanted to embrace the change as much as possible, even though I didn't know what that would look like. And I think I handled it well. I'm pretty happy with 2019, but I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready for 2020 and seeing what life brings me now, because I'm finally going to be settled into one place for an entire year, which is the first time that's happened since high school. And that was under my parents' house, so this will be like my first full year living in my own place, not moving, and I'm looking forward to the amount of growth that that's gonna let me have. And I don't really know what's next for me. I just know that there's a big world out there, and I want to try to do different things. And I think my goal for 2020 is to be flexible physically. I want to start like stretching more and kind of leaning out, toning up, and just like creating more what I would ideally want to look like. Because this year I also started weightlifting, which was like a huge thing for me that I had always really wanted to do but never really knew how. And so I learned how to weightlift, and I started doing that, and I really enjoyed that. But now I'm realizing, I'm like, okay, now I want to kind of stretch out and be more flexible, because I would prioritize strength over flexibility and mobility. So I'm realizing, yes, I want to be flexible now, but I also want to be flexible in giving myself grace, like emotionally and mentally, and processing any changes that do happen this year. It's gonna be a good one, and I thank all of you who have been around for my 2019 and before that, and for all of you in my future that might be watching this, come along for the ride. I don't know, it's gonna be a good one.